Robert Bob Simmons presents Casablanca 10th Year Anniversary, The History of Cotton Club. In 1920, heavyweight boxing champion Jack Johnson rented the upper floor of the building on the corner of 142nd Street and Lenox Avenue in the heart of the Harlem district, and opened an intimate supper club there called the Club Deluxe. Oni Madden, a prominent bootlegger and gangster, took over the club in 1923 after release from Sing Sing and changed its name to the Cotton Club. A deal was arranged between the two that allowed Johnson to still be the club's manager. Madden used the Cotton Club as an outlet to sell his #1 beer to the Prohibition crowd. The Cotton Club was a whites-only venue. The club reproduced the racist imagery of the times, often depicting blacks as savages in exotic jungles or as darkies in the cotton-growing plantation South. The club imposed a more subtle color bar on the chorus girls whom the club presented in skimpy outfits. They were expected to be tall, tan, and terrific, which meant that they had to be at least 5 feet, 6 inches tall, light-skinned, and under 21 years of age. The skin color of the male dancers was more varied. Black performers did not mix with the club's clientele, and after the show, many of them went next door to the basement of the superintendent at 646 Lenox. The prices for customers were high, so the performers had very high salaries. The Harlem Years. Shows at the Cotton Club were musical reviews, and several went under the heading of Cotton Club Parade, followed by the year. The reviews featured dancers, singers, comedians, and variety acts, as well as a house band. These reviews helped launch the careers of many artists, including Fletcher Henderson, who led the first house band to play there in 1923. It also helped push Duke Ellington's career, whose orchestra was the house band there from December 4th, 1927, to June 30th, 1931. In 1927, the first review that Duke Ellington took over as house band was called Rhythm Mania, and enabled him to develop the repertoire while composing not only the dance tunes for the shows, but also the overtures, transitions, accompaniments, and jungle effects that gave him the freedom to experiment with orchestral colors and arrangements that touring bands rarely had. Cab Calloway's orchestra brought its Brown Sugar Revue to the club in 1930, replacing Ellington's orchestra after its departure in 1931. Jimmy Lunceford's band replaced Calloway's in 1934, while Adelaide Hall starred at the Cotton Club and Cotton Club Parade in 1934, the biggest grossing show that ever appeared at the club, attracting over 600,000 paying customers. Featured on the bill was the 16-year-old Lena Horne, and Dorothy Dandridge performed there while still one of the Dandridge sisters, while Coleman Hawkins and Don Radman played there as part of the Hendersons' band. Tap dancers Bill Bojangles Robinson, Sammy Davis Jr., as part of the Will Maston. The club was closed temporarily in 1936, after the race riot in Harlem the previous year. The Cotton Club reopened later that year at Broadway and 48th, the Broadway Theater District. While Herman Stark and the club's owners were quite certain the club would do well at its new location, they realized they depended on a smash hit opening show. The most lavish revue in the Cotton Club's 13-year history opened on Broadway on September 24, 1936. Stark agreed to pay tap dancer Bill Bojangles Robinson $3,500 a week, the highest salary ever paid to a black entertainer in a Broadway production, and more money than had ever been received by any individual for a nightclub performance. It closed for good in 1940, under the pressure from higher rents, changing tastes, and a federal investigation into tax evasion by Manhattan nightclub owners. The Latin Quarter nightclub opened its space, and the building was torn down in 1989 to make way for a hotel. All in all, the Broadway Cotton Club was a highly successful blend of old and new. The site may have been new, the decor may have been slightly different, but once a patron entered and was comfortably seated, he knew he was in a familiar place, the Cotton Club. Video created by PowerBliss Enterprise Incorporated. Music mixed by DJ Dazzle. Video editor, Mr. PowerBliss. Producer, Willard Deshun Allen. Speaker, Dawn Day.